So, you know how hiring has always felt a little bit like, well, a bit of an art, all about gut feelings? Well, that's all changing. Today, it's becoming a science. We're going to dive into this new playbook where data, analytics, and yep, AI are the real star players in building incredible teams. Let's get into how the game has been completely turned on its head.
This has been the big question for decades, right? Was a fantastic hire just the result of a recruiter's amazing intuition, that special gut feeling about someone? Or could it be something you can actually break down, measure, and even predict? Well, that whole debate is starting to settle, and the answer, more and more, is being found in data.
All right, so here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we'll get into this new data-driven playbook. Then, we're going to look at the key numbers that make up the hiring funnel. From there, we'll see how AI is shaking things up, how all this data can lead to much fairer hiring, and finally, we'll take a peek into the future of predictive recruiting. Okay, so what is this new playbook really all about? Well, it's about a huge shift. It's moving away from making decisions based on hunches, looking at a resume and just thinking, this one feels right. Instead, it's about building a system where every single step is informed by actual data. Recruitment Analytics is basically the new compass for building a winning team.
Think about it like a professional sports team. The old school way was a scout watching a player and saying, yeah, I like the look of this kid. The new way is all about analyzing every possible statistic to predict how that player will perform in the future. And that's exactly what companies are doing now, applying that same level of deep analysis to build their own all-star rosters. So, to make these data-driven decisions, you first need, well, data. And in recruiting, it all starts with understanding what's called the hiring funnel. This is the basic journey every candidate takes, and it's where we find our most important numbers. It starts off really broad at the sourcing stage, where you're just trying to attract applicants. Then you narrow it down through screening and interviewing. Finally, you extend an offer, and if they accept, you've got a new hire. The cool part is, by tracking how many candidates move from one stage to the next, you can pinpoint exactly where your process is working and, more importantly, where it's breaking down. Okay, our first key metric is time to fill. Think of this as the pulse of your hiring process. It's not just about speed. A long time to fill means an empty desk, lost productivity, and a team that's getting burned out picking up the slack. By analyzing this number, you can spot the bottlenecks. Is it sourcing? Is it interview scheduling? And you can make the whole process way more efficient. Next up, cost per hire. This is basically the price tag on finding new talent. Every single dollar you spend on job ads, recruiter fees, or software gets factored in. Tracking this tells you which channels are absolute gold mines for great candidates, and which ones are just money pits. This lets you invest your budget where it really counts. Now, this metric, quality of hire, is arguably the most important one of all. It answers the ultimate question: did we actually make a good hire? It looks past the resume and the interview to measure what really matters: their performance, their productivity, and whether they stick around. This is where recruiting stops being just a cost center and really proves its value to the entire business. And that's really the big takeaway here. It's not about tracking numbers just for the sake of it. It's about using those numbers to get a real, tangible business advantage, to build better teams, faster and more efficiently than your competition. Okay, so we have the metrics to understand our performance. Now let's talk about the engine that can seriously supercharge it: artificial intelligence. AI is what takes all these analytics and actually puts them into action. AI is no longer just a buzzword here. It's a super practical tool. It can screen thousands of resumes in seconds, score candidates on totally objective criteria, and it can even identify passive talent. Those amazing people who aren't even looking for a job but would be perfect for a role. And crucially, it helps strip out a lot of the unconscious human bias from that initial screening process. This comparison really highlights the difference. A human recruiter might spend a whole day looking at 100 resumes, and their own biases could sneak in. An AI can process thousands in just a few minutes, applying the exact same objective rules to every single one. The jump in scale and consistency is just enormous. So is AI replacing the recruiter? Not really. It's automating the boring, high-volume tasks. This frees up the human recruiters to do the high-value work: talking to top candidates, understanding what motivates them, and really selling them on the company. You could say AI handles the science, so recruiters can master the art. Now, beyond just speed and cost, analytics has another, even more profound impact. It can be one of the most powerful tools we have for building more diverse, equitable, and inclusive workplaces. This chart shows a really common problem. So here, a company starts with a perfectly diverse applicant pool, right? 50-50. But then look at the final group of hires. That diversity is gone. Data makes this drop-off totally impossible to ignore. It forces us to ask the tough question. Where in our funnel are we losing great candidates, and what bias in our process is causing it?
And this isn't just a theory. There are real-world case studies, like this one from the financial services industry, that show when AI is trained properly on objective data, it can significantly reduce bias in screening and lead to much more diverse hiring outcomes. And this is the real power of analytics in this space. It helps companies move from simply talking about diversity to systematically building it. Data provides the objective feedback you need to turn a well-meaning goal into a measurable, repeatable outcome. This brings us to the final frontier of recruitment analytics. So far, we've gone from measuring the past to optimizing the present. So, the next logical step is predicting the future. This is the ultimate goal. Imagine analyzing all the data from your current top-performing salespeople, their skills, their experiences, their career paths, and then building a model that can screen new applicants for those exact same success factors. It's about identifying the patterns of what makes someone great, and then finding more people who fit that pattern. And that leaves us with a fascinating question to chew on. As these models get better and better, as the science of hiring gets more and more precise, what's the role of the human? Is it just about culture fit, mentorship, or something else entirely? Data has given us a powerful new playbook, but in the end, it's still up to us to write the final chapter. Thanks for joining me.